My name is Maia Kobabe. I am the author of Genderqueer, a memoir, which is one of the most challenged books in the United States right now. Genderqueer is the story of my life, starting at about age 2 until I turn around 28. It focuses specifically on memories that have to do with gender, identity, sexuality, and then coming out to family, friends, community, and sort of my career and professional life. When I started really talking about the deep, vulnerable questions of my life, people really responded to it. And I started to get people saying things like, I didn't know anyone else in the world felt this way. I didn't know there was a word for this. I thought I was the only one. Like reading these made me feel less alone, like really like powerful responses. And it was those responses that made me think, oh, well, maybe this material is worthy of a book or important enough for a book. I felt very alone in my gender experience as a teenager. And I'm very grateful that as an adult, I've been able to share this. And instead, I've been able to build such a loving and strong community out of sharing. I do not take the critique personally in the sense that I think the people saying negative things about my book are correct or that it is a valid statement about the quality of my work. But I do take it personally as a citizen of this country who believes in free speech and believes in the freedom of information and who worked in libraries for 10 years and is a huge supporter and lover of libraries. And I think that an attack on libraries, an attack on free speech is an attack on every single American citizen, myself included. So I take it very personally in the sense that I feel like I am seeing the freedoms of our country being degraded. But I do not take it personally in that I think that I have written a bad book. I timed my mom. It took her 1 hour to read it. So um, if anybody is curious about it or wants to know what's inside, it will not even take a full afternoon. I highly encourage you to read it so you know what's what. I wrote this book. It's about my real life. It talks about my real family and my friends and my community. And now, like, hundreds of thousands of people in this country have heard about it. Um, and it's like it's almost like I don't even know if I can articulate like how to respond. It feels almost like larger than it's easy to like hold in your mind in one moment. But the second year it was announced as most challenged, I was actually completely unsurprised because by that point I had been hearing the news so much through the past year. I was like, yeah, it's going to be #1 again. I usually recommend the book for high school and above. I do think there might be some junior high readers that are ready for this. And indeed, I was already asking these questions and searching for these types of topics and answers when I was probably 11, 12. I started my period at age 11, and that is when my gender dysphoria and gender questioning really started. And I started feeling very alone and unsure of myself. And I think a book like this could have really, really helped me, especially when I was like around 12 and 13. Certainly by the time I was a freshman in high school, I was looking for this information and I was really not finding it. I don't think the book is for children, but I do think that it is appropriate for teen readers, and also that libraries have books for all ages and you shelve them with signage and people browse and find the books that they need in a library. And not every book in a library is for every reader, but they still need to be available. My hope is that people who read the book see what it is for what it is intended to be, which is a story about someone coming to know themselves and receiving a lot of freedom and love and support and stepping away from shame through the process of coming to know themselves. And if there's anything I want my book to do, it's to help other people know themselves and start conversations about gender and about pronouns with their families. I wish that people who are trying to remove my books from shelves would understand that even if they can't see the value of this book, it could be valuable to someone else, and just let it be as a resource of one among many in a community, and know that the people who need it will mostly be the people who are reading it. The lovely and kind and supportive messages I have received have outnumbered the hate mail like 5 to 1 or sometimes even 10 to 1. And there are so many people who read this book and loved it And I now feel like I am in community with all of those people. When I wrote this book, I didn't know if anyone would relate to it. I also didn't know if anyone, aside from people who knew me personally, would read it. And it has been really amazing to see this book find readers outside of my own sort of small circle of community. And anyone who read it, like, I am in community with you, and I see you, and I support you. I think that in some ways, the challenges are a testament to the strength of my work. It means that they're saying a lot to people, whether people agree with or disagree with what I'm saying. It is making waves, and I'm not going to back away from that.